Mercedes is currently undergoing a turbulent period of events with the W14, proving to be an even more challenging car compared to the 2022 Challenger. When the team thought the porpoising was the biggest enemy of the car, they faced issues like increased drag and stability issue. And from what the team was able to obtain from the car, the problem is definitely in the side pod design. That's why Hamilton had some interesting things to say about the team not listening to him last year. And at Mercedes, they have thrown themselves at work, revealing the first update on the new side pod design. The no-pod side pod design revealed by Mercedes during the 2022 car showings has been labeled as the most innovative design on the grid. People were saying that the season was over before it even started, mostly because the car looked very different, and the fact that the new technical regulation had just been set meant that everyone believed Mercedes had the next 5 seasons in the bag. But it seems like no-pod side pod design has proven to be nothing but a liability, as it was seen from the pre-testing in Barcelona and Bahrain through the entire course of the season. This is why Hamilton kept asking the team to change the side pod design as early as possible, with this challenge proving to be a task much easier said than done. Given the budget cap and the development rate of every single team, if Mercedes opts out for a different design, it means they are throwing away every progress they made with their current side pod design, and in the current season it would mean they'd be 1.5 years behind Ferrari and Red Bull. Now, not only are they behind these two teams, but Aston Martin has also overtaken the Brackley-based squad, with Alonso and Stroll having a wonderful first race in Bahrain and proving that while their car is 50% Mercedes, the rest of the 50% they inherited from Red Bull's ex-employees is enough to make them competitive for podium. So Mercedes has no time to waste, and it seems like they are brought their game in terms of changing the car and making the best out of the W14 for the upcoming schedule. This comes after the wake-up call in Bahrain has alerted Mercedes that this time, even with one Ferrari retiring due to reliability issues, they are far from where they are supposed to be. Hamilton and Russell finishing P5 and P7. Had Leclerc finished the race, it would have been P6 and P8. So this is definitely not the pace and performance that Mercedes wants from the W14 in the remainder of the races. In terms of the side pod upgrade, something that needs to be changed right away. The team had some doubts about whether they will continue with no pod side pod design or ditch the entire thing and go with something brand new. The current design of the car is very unlikely to be competitive in the 2023 season, and this is something that Mike Elliott had spoken about as well when talking about the bodywork and what we are expected to see in the following period. He added, "Toto already said we've got a different bodywork coming. It won't be the same as other people's, and it won't be the same as we've got. It will be different. It's part of the normal development. We've got a very different side pod coming." I think Toto said that in the press, but it takes time to bring that. It takes time to change the bits that go underneath the bodywork to fit, so we'll bring it as soon as we can. Obviously, the race where Mercedes planned to bring the first major upgrade package was in the no-pod side pod design revealed by Mercedes during the 2022 car showings has been labeled as the most innovative design on the grid. People were saying that the season was over before it even started, mostly because the car looked very different. And the fact that the new technical regulation has just been set meant that everyone believed that Mercedes had the next 5 seasons in the bag. One that Hamilton will be very happy to witness. We cannot help but wonder, will Mercedes surprise us earlier in the season? The next 2 races on the Formula 1 calendar are expected to favor Mercedes over Aston Martin and Red Bull, primarily due to the track's downforce nature and tire degradation concerns. However, despite this, Mercedes is facing a significant gap to the front of the grid that seems too significant to overcome with just the track's characteristics. In the Bahrain Grand Prix, Mercedes introduced a new rear wing for the car that is serving its intended purpose. Elliott, a member of the team, expressed his satisfaction, stating that the part was not brought to winter testing after it was implemented in the first race of the season. He confirmed that it's doing precisely what the team expected to do. Nevertheless, after the first 2 preseason tests in Bahrain, Mercedes was left with a lot of questions that the team is desperate to answer. It was revealed that the Brackley-based squad wasn't sandbagging at all, which was previously believed. Therefore, the team is focusing on fixing the issues to improve the car's competitiveness. Mercedes believes that visible changes will be introduced to the grid, boosting the W14's competitiveness immediately. While the team's leader affirmed that some of the planned upgrade packages have already been applied to the W14 after the alarm bell rang in Bahrain. Andrew Shovlin, the trackside engineer for Mercedes, suggested that potential gains could be imminent and the team is exploring ways to improve the car further. Shovlin noted that some people use the word concept to mean the side pod design, but the team is looking at the revision that will be introduced in the next few races. Although the team recognized the need for significant alteration to the W14, it views it as a long-term project, and the degree of alteration required needs careful consideration consideration. When talking about bigger departure and more radical changes, Chauvelin emphasizes that they take time to turn into a faster solution in the wind tunnel. He noted that significant development is required around any significant change in geometry in that area. Nonetheless, Mercedes is committed to looking for opportunities to improve the car's performance, even in the face of the significant gap to the front. We are eagerly anticipating the potential for development, and we are expecting to see visible changes on the Mercedes car in the upcoming races. This is exactly the news we were hoping for after the Bahrain Grand Prix. Chauvelin's statement regarding the pace of the W14 has caused concern for other teams, as they fear Mercedes will remain in the position we saw them in during Bahrain. The wind tunnel will reveal where Mercedes is losing performance, and their 17% advantage in wind tunnel time compared to Red Bull will come in handy. According to Mark, the issue with the car is of an aerodynamic nature. Mechanically, the Mercedes and Aston Martin cars are the same, but Red Bull is able to utilize the airflow much more effectively, which is why they were able to beat the team that they bought the engine from in the first race of the season. Other team principals do not believe that Hamilton or Russell will remain in the middle field for too long. Fred Vasseur was the first to provide his personal belief as to what we should expect from the Brackley-based squad. When asked about the matter, the Frenchman said, "It's only race one, and we don't have to jump to conclusions. I think that Mercedes will wake up soon. We don't know what will happen next week. The next race will be a different story in Jeddah, so let's see in Jeddah if we have a better picture." The same narrative is enforced upon us. And while Max Verstappen believes that Ferrari will be the team to worry about in the upcoming Grand Prix in Saudi Arabia, he hasn't completely written off Mercedes as championship rivals. The Brackley-based squad experience in Bahrain, Christian Horner complimented Mercedes for being stubborn, with Vasseur adding that he's been in the sport for too long to see things change so quickly. So according to Red Bull's team principal, there's still hope for Mercedes. The downwash side pod solution has become a popular design among teams, starting with Red Bull and later adopted by Aston Martin. Despite this, it is not certain that Mercedes will not also use this design. It is worth considering whether Mercedes' reluctance to adopt this solution is affecting their performance this season. What are your thoughts on Mercedes' chances of winning the championship? Do you believe that the upcoming side pod upgrades will significantly improve their performance?